Okay, so now we're just going to do a quick um, lesson on how to add text to a photo. So if you go to resources for this lesson, you will find this file is going to be named birthday cake. And we're going to go ahead and drag it into GIMP. And it's kind of large, so we're going to go view and zoom out. And hopefully by now you are starting to get in the groove with my little routine. So once again, we are going to go select all, image guides, new guides from selection. Then we're going to go to layers. We're going to right click our layer and add alpha channel. Next, we're going to add a new transparent layer. You'll notice there's some pattern to this whole thing, right? So, okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our toolbox. We're going to click this letter A because this is our text tool. We'll double click it to pull up our tool options. And since this is a dark photo, we actually want to use light colored text, otherwise it won't show up. So for the color, go ahead and you can choose whatever you'd like. You know, I suggest a white or a very light pastel color, like a light pink or a light blue. So you can click anywhere along here to, and then you can move throughout it if you'd like to find yourself like, you know, something like that would be a good color. Unless you're making this for a male friend. So we'll just go with something like that. Yeah. And then to choose the font, you click on this here, and you should have a list of all the fonts you have installed on your PC. And you can always download another one if you don't find one that you like. And so for a birthday kind of greeting, I like to choose a handwriting type font. So maybe something like, let's see. I don't know about that one. Let's see. I'm a little picky when it comes to fonts, so you don't have to be if you are not too concerned. Let's see. So I'm going to try this Great Vibes font. And for the size, I'm going to try out 120. And so now what we need to do is we need to, it works a lot like the rectangle select tool in that we just click and drag where we want to put the text, and we resize it the same way as the rectangle select. So let's say that that's what we want our text box to be, and when we click in it, and we'll start to type happy birthday. And so it's a little too close to the edge. So down here in our tool options, you'll see this justify option. And if you click this square, it will center your text. Or you can put it back where it was and then just simply resize your text layer like you would a rectangle select by just moving it over a bit like that. And I personally think that this text is too small actually for this image, so I'm going to select it. And I'm going to go back to tool options and I'm going to try instead 175 and hit enter, and that should make it larger. And that's better, but I think it could be even bigger. So I'm going to try 190. And that's starting to look better in my opinion. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. I like the placement and everything else. So I'm going to put that there so that it's the right size. And so next, I'm going to go over to our layers here, and I'm going to right click on our happy birthday text layer. And I'm going to, it's a little hard to see this, but I'm going to right click. I'm going to go all the way down to alpha to selection and click on that. And next I'm going to go up to the filters menu, and I'm going to click on light and shadow. And then I'm going to go down to drop shadow. That's going to bring up this script foo box. And I'm going to unclick the allow resizing. And I think I'm going to change this black to white instead. Click OK, and then click OK. And then go select none. And you'll see that kind of adds a little bit of a white drop shadow to the text, which looks kind of cool here. And so I like that. Now, if you'd like to include, and you can also, you don't have to put the, if you don't like the drop shadow, you can just go ahead and undo it and then select none and keep it the way it was. If you prefer that, it's up to you. Obviously, you can make the text as big as you want. You can make it whatever color you want. I mean, obviously, this is just my example. And so I'm going to go back to this other transparent layer, and I'm going to make another text layer. And I'm going to change the color of the text this time. And I think this time I'll make it white. And, or actually, maybe, you know what? Maybe a different shade of pink, like a darker shade. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And click OK. And I'm going to make this a different font just to play around and experiment a little bit here, which I encourage you to do. And so I'm just going to make another text box like this by clicking and dragging. Snap it to my edges, and then friend's name. And that looks a little bit too different in my mind. That's not fancy enough. It looks too, handwritten sloppy style. So I'm gonna change the font like that. I'm gonna try this Alex brush instead. That looks nicer, much nicer. And I think that I want to make this bigger so that, or actually, you know what? Decisions. I could sit here all day, trying to figure this one out. I'm gonna center that. I like that better. And then I'm gonna go back to the happy birthday and make that bigger because I feel like one of these should be bigger than the other. So let's make this 220 instead of 190. And let's see what that does. I like that. Yeah. And then you can, of course, play around with the placement of the text if you like. This was the version that I had created before. And you can see it's just like this one, just plain white and pink text with my friend's actual name. And yeah, that's that. So that's the simple version of adding text.